Well, good evening, good evening. It's another Airfix and chill in a bit of a moist England at the moment. You know, we've been suffering thunderstorms and flooding down this way in the south, and but on Saturday, it was all right. Or Sunday, it was all right. And then it was all right, and then all of a sudden we've got all this rain and everything coming down. So, but anyway, we've got 5 in the chat tonight so far. I think Nigel's going to pop on at some point, and then maybe others popping in as we go forwards. I know Fenris's children are a bit poorly, so he won't be in tonight, but get well soon. I've not heard from Sprue and Glue, but if he wants to pop in, he can do so as well. But we've got John, Alex, Scale Modelling. We've got Sully in, who's showing off his trophies, the bastard, from Sunday. We've got Alex in from Man's Modern Moments, who's now a shopkeeper. Congratulations there, mate.
Hey.
Your very own model shop. I'll leave a link in the description box below with where you can find him. And we've got John Parker in as well. Nice to see you, my friend. So, but before we go on to the big controversy, there's someone's been eking people out this week. I don't know what it's about. We're going to find out a bit later. But me and Sully went to the West Midlands Police Model Club Blue Lamp show on Sunday. And I know Duxford was on, and a lot of people were at Duxford. We toured on to this little model show, and it was an absolute delight to be there. It was a lovely venue, actually, Sully, I must say.
Yes, it's really good. Yeah.
It's really, really good. And, they had, 4 dealers there selling their wares, maybe 5. But the tables were full of fantastic models.
Nice.
And I just want to give out a big shout out to the West Midlands Police Force. If you're there, just say hello to us in the chat and just say, I was at the West Midlands Model Show as well when I saw you, Moz and Sully. Just leave a comment in the chat there so we can say hello back. But I had a fantastic day. It was really well planned. I entered one of the categories in the model show, and I've come back. I didn't win anything, but I was really chuffed.
Well, you kind of did, though, didn't you?
Well, I did. We'll go into that in a minute. But, I put in my little whippet into the scale model class, which was under scale 42, wasn't it? So 48, 72. Put that in, and the winners were ones that were were very, very good, but they had added parts, didn't they? They had aftermarket on them and stuff.
I think yours was.
So I learned something there. I learned quite a bit because I got some really good feedback saying that the guy said the whippet looked really, really good, but you had a Challenger there, Challenger tank, and you had those. Is it the what was it? Won it? Sorry, it was now.
I forgot.
Oh, was it the the tugs? Wasn't it?
Yes, it was a tug. Yes, it was one of the little tug. But,
well, 2 tugs, wasn't it? It was 2 tugs that won it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure which one it was.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
but they won the competition. But I came away learning something from it. I've not really entered competitions before, so it was just really good. It was like I lost me virginity sort of thing, and I didn't come back with a baby, so that was all right. You know what I mean? So
win-win.
But yeah, but Sully won 4 awards.
Yeah,
was one of them the only one? There was only one model in the category that you won, wasn't
it? Initially there was one, but then another one. It was put into one category, but then was put into the same one as mine. But mine came first either way.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of to be fair, it was a bit of a cheap win.
It was a good win.
It was a good win, but it was a bit of a cheap win.
I should have put my whippet in your category as well. Then would have got 3rd place. What else? There, Models for Heroes were there, obviously, and somebody donated a scale model kit. And I went up to the and I noticed that to the Models for Heroes table, and I noticed that nobody had bought any tickets. I thought, well, nobody ever wins number 1 to 100, do they? I thought, sod this. So I went away and I came back and I noticed that nobody bought any tickets. So I goes, here's £10 worth, because £1 a strip. Give me 10 strips. So I go off 1 to 50. I had 1 to 50, and they called it out, didn't they? You had to call it out number 46, and I ended up coming away with
Was he the Bearcat?
Oh, no,
nice.
1 32nd scale. Is it Katari? They say. Is it Kotari?
Oh my gosh!
Kotari.
Got one of those. Wow.
Yeah.
Kotari.
So, yeah,
that looks nice.
Doesn't come with an engine apparently, but it's and for £10 more you can get the 124 scale Spitfire from Airfix, but by and by. So yeah, so I won this from the Models for Heroes, and I whenever I see Models for Heroes, I always put an extra couple of quid in the tin whenever I see them at a model show. So it was really good to have won that kit. So I came away a happy man. It took me 2.5 hours to drive up there, but nearly 3 hours, three hours and a quarter to get back because the traffic and the weather was absolutely horrendous. But big shout out to those guys at West Midlands Police Force and their Scale Model Club, and fair play to. I think they raised about 400 quid for the charity.
Yeah, something like, yeah. They're a good bunch. Yeah, they're a good bunch of boys and girls. Yeah, done a good show. Again, the second one they've done as well ever. So the first one was really good as well. So they nailed it from day one. To be fair, so
yeah.
But they've got to find a new venue for the next ones. But hopefully, back next year. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
I'm sure just as bigger and better than this one.
Did you get a bacon sandwich while you were there?
I was actually really good. I didn't, but the other half's mum popped in, and I got 2 Greg sausage rolls, so I was happy.
Oh yeah, well I did. There was two bits of bacon in a row was £4.95. I thought it was a bit expensive, really.
Was it good bacon?
And then this morning I was there. I brushed my teeth and woke up this morning, brushed my teeth again, and about 11:30 this morning I was there. I goes, what's this in my mouth? Was a bit of bacon. I don't know where that came from. You know what I mean? Flick that away, definitely. But so we had a really good day out, and hopefully, because they said they got to find a new venue. The footfall wasn't as good as they had in previous years, but as they said, it was Duxford that weekend, wasn't it? So
yeah, I think that was forgotten about, and I'm not sure if they'd realised there may have been 1 or 2 other shows on at the same time.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. To be fair, I didn't really get into him with it about it.
Yeah. But anyway, so
it was good.
We promised that we would mention them on the show today, so that's what we've done, and I'm chuffed to bits, and it's good. Just going through, we've got so many in the chat. I'm just going to say hello to all of you, the likes of Plastic Monkey, Gary, Celtic West, Taggers, to Boldly Go. I think he's a bit poorly tonight. I think he mentioned something about sewing, or like an ivory needle or something. So he's not very well this evening. But it's all good in the chat. And let me see, we've got Aussie Scale Modeling as well. Nice to see you. I did take my Scout up to show everyone at the model show, and I'm really happy with it. I've still got to wait for that part to come through. The Scout went together absolutely sublimely. I've done the video on it, so if you want to go check out my channel, there's a video of me building the Scout. There's one piece I've got to get, which is the pickaxe at the front, because I went to spray it after wiping it down with IPA. I picked it up with the tweezers, so I didn't get any grease on it from my fingers, and all I had was a ping, and it just like caught the hairs of my eyebrow as it flung across the room, and I've not been able to find it, so I've had to order a new piece for that. Did notice there was quite a few ferret Scouts there for 20 quid, £4 cheaper than they were on the Airfix site, so they're already coming down in price. So if you want to get
I nearly picked one up as well. Very nearly picked one up.
Should have done, mate.
I know.
You're doing yours, yeah? What scheme are you doing then, Alex?
I decided to go off-piste, and I'm doing mine in a 1991 Gulf War.
Nice.
Were they in the Gulf War, were they?
So I've 3D printed a bunch of stuff for it, like
hens,
GP LMG.
Wow.
The Master Mat. Some a whole bunch of fuel cans and stowage and stuff. So
can I just say that the jerry can in that kit is really good. Have you put it together yet?
Yeah, that it was a bit of a bow clenching moment though when you have to put that
little spout on. Yeah.
Yeah, that cap is tiny.
It is tiny.
I was just thinking, if this pings off, I will never ever find it.
Yeah, I know that weird feeling as well. Yeah, I know that very much so. So anyway, John, how are you, mate? Are you all right? All good in the hood for you? John Parker.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All good. All good. Did you ever build the Vulcan, the old Vulcan?
Yeah, I did.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes and no. It's
Correct
I'm
answer.
going to be honest with you. It's the only model I've not sold. Everything else I build, I sell because you haven't got the space for everything, have you? But that Vulcan stands on top of my bedside cabinet.
Are you ready to build the new one?
I wouldn't mind having a go at building a new one because I've heard it's an easier build for a start.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I mean, I've got a video on my channel of the build progress video showing you exactly how it went together and everything. And God, those air intakes inside of the wings, awful.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, there's still 40 quid in some places. The old scheme, the new scheme has just come out, which I've got on my bench, which you have to talk about today, actually, because it's a bit of a controversy, I should say. It's a case of people want to put Airfix naked and put them through the street, chucking poo at them and tomatoes and everything at them, going shame, because of an oversight. So there was a big post about it, wasn't there? There was what would you call it? A chain, a thread, I should say, of pictures containing this picture here. So if I had this is the picture. So you've got the pod, isn't it?
Yep.
And what the designer unfortunately did was, because he had this picture, I believe, in black and white. This is in color, this one. He had the picture in black and white. So we're going to talk about it tonight. Now, I've got the model behind me now, and we're going to go over to my bench so we can have a proper look and see what the issue is. Now, before we go any further, that is not a door. Okay, people were thinking that you attach the pod to the door. No, you don't. It's a separate piece. In theory, there is a door behind. All you're doing is putting a piece up. So if I can go to my settings and change the camera to my Brio, and here's Nigel coming in now. We'll just add Nigel to the mix. Some Nigel's here. So let me just swing. So it's hi, Nigel. Just going into the controversy of Airfix and picture. So, and I'm glad you're Nigel because you built the Vulcan and you loved it, didn't you?
Other than it was covered in sink marks, I loved it.
Yeah. But you worked hard on it, didn't you?
Yes, and it's a beautiful model when it's built.
Yeah, and you've done a cracking job on it as well, my friend. You did a really. I watched quite a few of those parts of the build, but people are thinking that this is the issue: was that people are thinking that you're going to have to attach that pod to that door, and it isn't. And also, just so on an off shit, somebody else mentioned that there's a gap between the pylon and the wing. In this picture here, I can see a gap between the pylon and the wing. Can you see there's like a rod there, isn't there? So I think the pylon is hanging down from the wing, according to this picture, but I may be wrong.
That picture to me is clearly obvious that you can see the wing mounting is in front of that door behind it.
That's right.
And the, whatever it is about, whatever scale, it's about 4 foot down below that from the hanging.
They only saw a black and white picture, though.
That's not black and white.
No, they didn't. This isn't the picture they saw. They saw a black and white one.
Yeah, I don't.
This picture here is a colour one.
Like the people think they're supposed to attach that rocket, whatever it is, to the door.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But anyway, if I just go to me a minute into my So this is you get this sprue here, which is huge, right?
Is this the
And
black?
this is the offending part here, which I'm going to cut off. This is it. So if I just cut this off with me god hands.
Is that the black buck kit you've got there, Ross?
Yeah.
You got an early one, have you?
What do you mean? It came out this week.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it came out this week.
I saw it today. It said for release late September.
Yeah, they've advertised it because you get this coin with it as well. That's the coin you get with it. So we get the camera in really close here, and I'll try and adjust the camera here so it's straight enough. There we go. Right. So this is the offending part. So you've got part number 6 and M5. This is frame M. That's the offending part. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you have to do, and this isn't uncommon with any model kits out there. When I last built the Mitsubishi Zero, I had to cut the wings off to put the tips so the tips bent upwards, if you know what I mean. Cutting plastic isn't a be all and end all. So basically what you're going to have to do is cut this there and cut that along there and then stick that pod to that bit there. The door is not the door. The door's a separate piece. I'll show you the instructions. So there's the instructions. Clearly that is a door, and then you're putting that part in where those locating pins are. Yeah, and then they're showing you that. That's the error.
You are joking.
Yeah, that's a dreadful error.
That is, that's like a 5-year-old mistake.
But the issue being is that they only had 2 pictures. This is what I've heard from the grapevine. And Chris, the designer who designed this kit, about 3 years ago, must be 3 years ago now.
3
so
years ago.
This is pre Airfix getting in a designer, a researcher, and a rivet counter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Luke is their rivet counter. So that's the error. But I don't think it's the end of the world. I really don't. He saw that picture, this one here. Let me just put this back up again. He saw this picture, and this was in black and white. This picture's coloured, but I'm sure I've heard that it was, and the pictures also I've seen, this exact picture I've seen in black and white. And I'm presuming that Airfix or Chris had that picture in black and white.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
It's clearly obvious from that picture that the door is behind them because you can see the guy's shoulder is in front of the door.
Well, actually, that's the bit of a crux because if you look here, there's a cutout.
You got a cut
Where his shoulder is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's brilliant.
There's a cutout where his shoulder is.
I don't need to.
All right.
But then put somebody from Hobby Boss.
That's part of
That's really
part
clever.
of the whole thing about it, though, isn't it? Is that this photo, when it was circulated before this kit was built, a lot of people misinterpreted that, and it's because that guy is standing there, and because you can't see his leg, it looks like that the bay cover is actually a pylon, and the unfortunate bit about it being on that jack there, that it's just the right height, so it looks like it's actually hanging from you know, this pylon, which looks, like it's the size of a Vulcan.
It's an optical illusion.
Carriage bay door, because it is the undercarriage bay door, and it's just a perspective thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, why would anybody in the world ever think that somebody would hang something that far down off a wing?
Yeah.
Well,
to me, the thing is that this photo was known about and people discussed it before this was even designed.
Yeah.
So I think to me the error, it's not. I mean, the error is understandable, right? What surprises me is that the internal QC process. I know it's before Luke came on board, but you would have still thought somebody would have just checked, especially given that the Black Buck raids, there are people still alive who worked on those aircraft,
Yes.
could have just been
Good
asked.
point. Good point.
It just seems a very trivial thing. And even now, to take a kit that was designed like 3-4 years ago and not just say, let's just double check, all these bits before we actually go ahead and release, just seems a bit of a, just something that it would have been one tiny piece, maybe delayed it a couple of weeks. It just seems a bit of a silly thing, a bit of an own goal,
Yeah, I've got me pink tinted glasses as I'm speaking now because I kind of, like I said, I'm showing. I should have found the black and white one that people were using, but I didn't, because it was got writing on it where people have said this is the problem, but people jumped to the conclusion that you were attaching this pod to the actual door, which I thought was quite funny. That they attach it to the door. No, it's, and even today I've had somebody say, I can't. The thought of attaching it to the door puts me off buying the kit. Well, no, it is, and I personally think it's an easy fix. I really do think it's an easy fix.
Yeah. And somebody will have a one out in weeks.
Yeah. Well, you can buy the aftermarket for it already.
Well, there you go then.
Can I just quickly ask a question? Yeah. What did Airfix think the pod was going to do when the bloody undercarriage went inside the aircraft?
No, that's what I mean. No, the door's there. The door's already there.
They think it's a pylon.
They don't think it's a door. They think the pylon is that.
Yeah, but if even looking at the picture, you can see that it's behind the guy loading the pod into place, and you can even see the electrical harness hanging down from the pylon above it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think they had a clear enough picture, and they kind of guessed it. But all I know is that when it all first came out, they were mortified that this got through.
I bet they were.
I bet they were.
And and you know what Airfix have brought? You remember this? They've got new things in place now, which they've had since Luke's been there when it comes to research. But honestly, Airfix put their hands up and said, "Look, this is an error, and you can cut the piece off."
Yeah.
And you don't need that piece because even though there's a cutout there, I don't think you need the cutout. I don't think.
No, because if
you look at the pylon again, so I'm going to flip through backwards and forwards.
It's reenacting a fictitious part, isn't it?
Yeah, it sticks out there a little bit, if you know what I mean. So in theory,
there's no sway braces.
Yeah, that's a good shout. But like I said, that's the instruction. So but cutting kit isn't beyond 80% of scale modelers, because like I said, even in the starter sets, if you want to build that Mitsubishi Zero and you want the wing tips up, you've got to cut the wing down and a little notch out, and then you attach, because when you cut it out, there's like 2 pinholes in there, and then you put the pinholes in. And so cutting this plastic isn't a be all and end all, I don't think.
No, but that's a completely different thing you're talking about there, boss.
Do you think?
With the Zero, you're talking about an option in a 72nd scale kit, which is to cut the tip off and put it in a vertical position. That is it's a bollock dropped, isn't it? That's what that is.
Yeah, the process of correcting is the same, isn't it?
This week have been the first cameras to go down on a Kagi ever since she sank. And it's like if Hasegawa made a Kagi with 6 guns on the stern and it only had 4, that's a mistake that you could make. But this is, like Alex said, there's people around that loaded those weapons still here.
Yeah, but they did.
I think it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, isn't it? Because as Moss said, it's a very easily correctable thing. In the grand scheme of modelling, it's nothing, right? I mean, seeing this part how it is, because I held off. I was going to buy this kit the day it was announced, and then I saw all of this stuff and was just like, ooh, maybe not. So I've held off. Now I've seen this part. It's like, oh well, if that's all it is, then sod it. I'll go ahead and order it. The problem is not that, right? It is a very, very simple thing to correct. It is the fact that Airfix didn't pick it up. You know, and it being a, you know, we rail on the Chinese and Trumpeter and Hobby Boss when they make mistakes and Revell and everybody else.
But we don't.
For Airfix to have missed such a tiny but obvious thing in something which is an indigenous UK, fairly recent thing, just it makes them look amateurish, which I don't think they deserve. You know, because I think they've done absolutely the right thing. You know, where they're just putting their hand up and saying, "Yeah, we messed up. It's absolutely the right thing to do, and this is how you correct it." But it's just unnecessary. I just wish they hadn't done it because I think they deserve better. You know,
and to be fair, you know, going by what I've been hearing from Hornby Towers, the team are devastated by it. They've humbled themselves. So, and they're working hard now. There's an announcement coming out tomorrow or Wednesday on what Airfix is going to do to, you know, and they've got options. There's, you know, you think of options. I think they're going to give you the option for it. You know, there's going to be options here for them. But for me personally, I'm quite capable and happy enough just to trim that bit down, you know, because you have to kind of follow the outline, don't you? Just follow it along there, down there, up there, and across, and you're done. You're golden, aren't you?
Ross, can I say something? You might want to stroke me off of your channel for saying this, but I have to be honest. If this was a kit by any manufacturer other than Airfix, you'd be laughing as well.
Oh yeah, I totally get that. Totally get that. Yeah, I get that. But then, like I'm saying, I'm wearing my rose tinted glasses. You know, I'm.
Also, Moss, if you look at that photograph, that part isn't very accurate. The pylon's inaccurate.
I know the weapon is very simple, isn't it? It's got no detail on the weapon at all.
Yeah, but if you look at the pylon's got a mounting bracket on top of it that fits between the wing and the pylon. And then you've got other additive bits on the pod. Like,
yes.
And they're just not on that kit.
There's also
I think the other thing to point out as well, and you know, I can't remember who mentioned it. I think it might have been Moss. There are already aftermarket people who do this.
Yeah.
So there's kind of not a leg to stand on in terms of like, they only had to think. Other people have done it. They only had to look at what the resin guys had done and copy that in plastic.
That's right.
See, everyone's here going, like, I totally get where you're coming from. Suzanne Scale Modeling saying, a 5-minute search on a local internet shows the ALQ-101 without the door. There's a surprising error. Yeah, but, you know, if you're talking 5 years ago, you know, I'm sure the kit was designed 5 years ago. They released it 3 years ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
They had the tooling all done 3 years ago, and that would have been released. But for the sake of COVID, it kiboshed any release from the stuff coming out of India, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, and they had a chap who sent them that picture, or sent them a picture. And I'm under the impression that this was a black and white version, because all I've seen in this picture is black and white. I went looking for this, and I found this color version, because all the other ones I saw in black and white were on Instagram and stuff, and all had words written on it. I wanted a clear picture, and also I didn't realize that it came from a Buccaneer. That ALQ 101 from the Buccaneer. So it was retrofitted for that one use and one use only, wasn't it?
Most of the stuff the Argentines used was supplied by the French.
Yeah.
So,
the
equipment that a lot of the RAF and naval aircraft had was totally useless.
James Willard said, I have read Vulcan 607, and the photos in that book even aren't that clear on what the jamming pod was mounted on, apart from the fact they use skyboat hardpoints.
Oh, right.
That's interesting. Because I haven't got that book. No, sure, I've got the other. I've got a Vulcan book based on the XH558, I think it is. So Taggers is right. A lot of plastic, but it is an expensive kit. It's 72 quid. You know, listen, I thought I should bring it up. I thought, as I say, get on the web. Let's get the part for it that's going to be said. And there it is. That's the part.
I hadn't heard about this until tonight, Moss.
No, fair enough, mate. Oh, it's all over. But then you're not a social media guy, are you? Mate, are you?
Can I ask a question on the same sort of subject but unrelated to this?
Yeah.
Did you ever find, because I've meant to ask you this a million times, you know, Airfix in the 124th Spitfire, they missed the control column, the rod that goes back under the seat from the control column.
Right.
It's not in the kit. The mounting points are there. What happened there? Do you know?
I have no idea about that, to be honest. I'd
Right.
love to get Luke in to have a chat with him about that, or Chris.
You're aware of the problem?
Yeah, because wasn't Flory, was it? Somebody had brought it up.
Yeah.
It wasn't Gary stuff, was it? I can't remember. Somebody brought it up, didn't they, in one of their videos? But I'm assuming so. Or was it the ailerons? Was it probably the ailerons or something? I can't remember now. Now you brought it up. There was but it's interesting, isn't it? You know, but that is the source. But is it really the end of the world? This is the question. You know, people are slagging off Airfix, and it's one mistake. And how many releases have they had recently that's been pretty much spot on?
I think, Moss, the problem is that is what makes that kit Black-Buck.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And that is the part they've messed up. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they've got too many ribs in the bomb bay. That is like, you know.
I think it's just the impression it gives. It's
It's
like I get that it was designed 3 or 4 years ago, but you know, if somebody done something 3 or 4 years ago and it was just like, you know, we should really release this, it's like, that's great. Let's go and just double check it, you know, because we weren't directly involved in that. Luke wasn't here. Luke, just go and just do your due diligence on this. You know, take a couple of weeks, and then we'll get it, you know, cracked out.
Yeah,
that's all it would have taken, and I'm sure Luke would have gone along, because there's an identical photo to, well, not obviously identical, but there's a photo that goes with that photo on the, you know, that shows that pod, with the pod actually mounted. It's like the next one in the series. There's two photos. One is this one, and then the one is the actual pod mounted on the pylon. You see that, and it's just, and then it's obvious, right? It's just like, oh, right, that's just on the trolley waiting to be mounted. You know, the guy's obviously standing in front of the landing gear bay door, and they're just prepping it to go up on that pylon. And then it becomes obvious, whether it's in black or white or not. So it's just, it's the impression it gives, I think, is worse, is the greater damage than the actual kit, you know? It's just all those naysayers of Airfix are just going to go point to this and say, there you go. You know, they didn't do the due diligence. You know, this is what, you know, Airfix is. They haven't changed, blah, blah, blah. Rather than, you know, this is the Airfix that we saw at the press release day, you know, with all the stuff they did on the Sea King, etc. So I think that's the damage it does to Airfix, is the reputational bit, you know. And I just feel for them because they don't deserve it, I don't think.
Question for the panel. Can you name a company that got all their kits 100% correct all of the time?
Not offhand.
Yeah, one that released only one kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Otari.
I think Wing Not Wings.
But,
yeah, possibly.
To prove.
Just say, better than the proof again. You know, it's somebody asked also what was the decals like. This is the decal sheet for it. If anyone wants to have a look what the decal sheet's like in this kit.
If they're cartographed, they'll be absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look nice.
So you got the two schemes there, XM597 and 607. I remember somebody put a comment in also, so I've missed the comment, but I'll go back to you if I can in a minute. That they were raiding museums and stuff for parts to get it back on the road. Some part was used as as an ashtray in the officers' mess to get these birds back flying again.
But, I mean, the actual modifications on the Vulcan to fly in the Falklands War were astonishing. They didn't even have in-flight refueling probes.
Yeah.
They had to be modded before they flew to Ascension.
Yeah, it was all a bit of wing and a prayer, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. An ashtray was part of the refueling system, and they had to nick one from the officers' mess to get the thing flying again. But those are the decals for it. And as I said, that is the sprue that's causing the issue. Everything else, for me, you know, people are saying that these points are a bit hard, but there is a gap there. People are saying that these points are too long. But looking at the picture, there looks like there is a gap between the pylon and the wing. There.
Yeah, that's the adapter.
Yeah, that's a different pylon, Moss.
Oh,
that's the adapter for the pylon to fit onto the Vulcan.
Right. So would that wouldn't be flush then to the wing then?
You've got the adapter above the pylon, and then you've got the pylon below.
That's it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, can you see it?
Even
that long, thin piece at the back of the pylon there, I don't think that's actually touching the wing.
That's not touching the wing, is it?
No.
But on the picture, I'm assuming that it's going to be it's going to have to be raised then, isn't it?
Well,
so there you go. Are they going those holes there? Would there be a gap then between the two?
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying that the pylon itself, the pod, everything, it's not really that accurate.
That's a fair shout, actually.
Wrong, isn't it?
I mean, that strip at the back of the pylon, I think, is too thick.
Yes. And the angle as well on the back of it.
Yeah.
It is quite a thick part, actually. Look at that. Yeah. You see that? It's quite a thick part, isn't it?
It was never that thick.
Well, I'll be buggered. So in hindsight, what they need to do really is to re-engineer that part, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, if they re-engineered that pylon and sent it out as a fix-it, then that would. I mean, other companies have done that before, haven't they?
Moss, can you put the instructions down a touch? Isn't that two different versions?
No, you got one on one side, one on the other, haven't you?
No, that's two different hard points. You've got version A and version B, look.
Oh, yeah, you have. Yeah, version A, version B.
Sidewinders, and then down the bottom, you've got the messed up one.
Yeah.
You're not using both. You're only using one or the other.
Those missiles.
Yeah, one's for the ECM pods and one's for the
Shrikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in theory, then, on the wing, where's the? So you've got missiles one side on the pod on the other. You're saying?
Yeah. No. Weren't the Black Buck missions flown with two ships? You had one jammer and one attacker.
Right. I see. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did. Yeah. So
they didn't have one jammer on one wing and then two missiles on the other.
No, you had four. Usually, you had four Shrikes on the attacking aircraft.
So I
have a jamming pod on the other one.
It was all or nothing then.
So there you go. So it's not that bad. That one's thicker.
Yeah.
Than that one there. Okay, I get that. So yeah, I thought they had a pod on one side. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I get that now. My bad.
The pod's not actually. The pod itself isn't actually that terrible, is it?
Well, there's no detail on it. It's just
no. There's no brackets on the top in the middle of the top of it, but it's not that bad. I've seen worse.
But is that right? The fin underneath.
Yeah, that is right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So going by that picture there.
That's on the picture. Can you see it?
Yeah, you see the fin there, can't you? Held up with wooden blocks, obviously.
Yeah. It's in a wooden cradle, isn't it?
Yeah. But so you can't see that's the outline of the bloke there. Then I guess you can see where the wooden blocks are. There's the bloke there.
Yeah, you can
but
see
you know.
Oh yeah. Well, one of his feet, anyway.
Yeah, there's no detail on it, and I can't. You
see that's that picture just explains an awful lot because everything was a botched job. I mean, they've even got wooden blocks to hold the pylon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
They got a wooden cradle that sat on wooden blocks on
Yeah.
a trot made for something else.
Yeah. That picture
So
tells.
I'm just looking at the call out sheet for scheme B. Okay. So I'm assuming you've got to paint the white lines in and the black. There's no actual
Decals there, surely.
no decals.
Those white
No,
lines, I would have thought.
there's
You
no
probably
decals for that
Probably
pod,
have
but
to
there
paint
is
the
symbols
avionics
on there.
sections. Yeah, but they're definitely white lines, aren't they? There'd be a decal for that.
Let's have a look at the decal sheet, shall we? Just have a quick look.
Surely.
What
are those 4 lines between the 2 big roundels?
The 20. Is that 20 there? Can you see the 20? Is that going to be the lines?
Yeah, that looks like it.
What do you
There's
think?
2 of them, isn't there?
And there should be black ends to it as well, but I can't see any black ends.
Well, the black ends you normally paint.
Yeah, but what I mean is that there's white dots on the black end. If you look closely, sorry about the camera, you see there's like symbols.
Yeah, it looks like Nissan sign.
Probably have a decal for that as well.
I can't see them on the decals. No
Are they on
white.
the decal? You know the lithograph where they show you where the stencils go.
Yeah, I'm going to do that now. Just going over to that page now.
It should be on there, shouldn't it?
Go look at the.
There you go.
It's only got them on the
They're only
strike
on the
missiles.
strike
It hasn't got them. There's the strike missiles there. It hasn't got them on the £1,000 bomb. Doesn't have them for the pod. There's no markings there for the pod.
Anything on the back of that sheet?
No, it says A and B here.
Okay.
A and B stencil data. There's the strike the missiles times 4, but and there's the £1,000 bomb.
So I wonder how clear their reference photo was.
But I can't see any.
If they didn't know the marks were there, why have they put them on the colour call out?
I have no idea, but Jonathan Mock's the man you need to ask for that because he's done that. But they don't seem to show. I can't see them on the decal sheet. Just making sure because that's scheme A, scheme B. Just making sure you got the bomb there. Oh, there they are. Boom. Sorry, my mistake. There they are. There you go. So they have got markings on the pod. So that's 3/4 of the way there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to paint the black front and rear section.
Yeah.
That's not a problem though.
No.
From that drawing hanging off the bottom of that door.
Yeah. So yeah, I see that now. Yeah.
Surely somebody looked at that and thought, "There's no way this is right." Surely.
Well, I don't understand why they thought it would be mounted on the door.
But even if they thought it was a pylon.
Once the other carriage goes up, it would just rip that pod off, wouldn't it?
Imagine a conflict. Yeah.
Yeah. I think these things just happen, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. At least they put their hands up and said, "Sorry, it's our fault."
Yeah. Fair play to them.
Yeah.
Bobby got their A20, A26. They just ignored everyone. I mean, there's absolutely nothing right with that kit.
Do you know what though? Unless this was brought up to me, I wouldn't have known. To be honest.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know the Vulcan that well to say, "Oh, that's wrong."
I think that decal for the instrument panel should be black.
That one there should be black.
I think it should be black. Yeah.
But when you paint that black, then put it on.
It's a decal clear.
Yeah.
That might be all right then. Yeah. Yeah, that's all right.
That's clear to me.
I've got my model here. You can't see anything in the cockpit.
No. I've seen photos of the Vulcan. I remember the instrument panel being black.
Yeah.
It was like similar to Matt AE5.
I've been in that one at the Midlands Air Museum in the cockpit. It's bloody gorgeous. It's tiny.
Mark Evans, these things don't just happen. What a buck up. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I think things like this do happen. Crumbs, who was
I
it the other
remember-
day? Had to send out a PDF because the instructions are wrong inside the kits.
I remember getting a Hasegawa kit once of an SU-100, and they put a second instruction leaflet in because the first one showed you putting the body shell on round the wrong way.
It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. So the chassis was back to front, you know. So companies, even companies like Hasegawa and Tamiya, they mess up here and there.
So hobby time. The Black Buck had one ECM pod and a full bomb load. Later, Black Buck missions had 4 strikes, and on one of them had 2 strikes and an EMC pod on the other pylon. Does that sound right to you?
Maybe.
Don't ask me.
I always thought it was 2 ship missions, but
when he said the same as me. So this model has its downfalls, as I've got no clue on the Vulcan and how accurate it should be. The cradle looks like part of the ambulance bed. Yeah. It looks like a rounded sprue.
They could have got it out of a Katie.
Yeah.
The thing is with things like this, though, is those people that are going to be most interested in this model are going to be, not all of them, you know, but a large percentage of them are going to be those that are really, you know, super into the Falklands and the Vulcan Black Buck missions and stuff, and they're going to know all of this. So I think that's why it came up so quickly, was because it's kind of a self-selecting kind of audience, which makes it, you know, doubly important. I think if you're just releasing a Vulcan, you know, if this was just the B2 release, then it would be fine, right? Because loads of people like the Vulcan. If you got something a bit more specialized, I think it's always worth the extra check, which again just, you know, comes back to the whole, why didn't they just run a quick one by a special interest group, or, you know, a couple of people that have been working on it, or, you know, whatever, you know.
But that goes against the secrecy then, doesn't it? They're very secrecy.
Yeah, but there's a point of, I mean, there's things like you know, non-disclosure agreements and stuff, aren't there? You know, you only need a couple of people to be able to, you know, a couple of experts.
Apparently the person who helped them design it, you know, he was a Vulcan expert, I gather, because they do have experts who work with them to do these planes.
Yeah, but there's people that think they're experts that know bugger all.
Yeah, true. It's like, if I need to know anything about a Fokker Wolf, I'll always come to you, Sully.
They should just go back and publish his name then. It's like, well, we asked this guy, and he said it was fine.
Yeah, go back to him. Yeah. So let's go back to the guy who carved out the tooling. Let's really do that, shall we?
Yeah.
Old 92 says they can redo the Shrikes while they're at it.
Yeah.
The front fins are way too small.
I was just about to say, boss, having built the kit and having seen Airfix's latest sort of productions, that looks like it's from a different era.
Does it?
It just looks. If you told me that was out of a starter set, I'd believe you. It looks very, very simple.
Mm.
When you look at the Vulcan model that it comes out of, it's bloody beautiful. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It just
Yeah,
looks.
I know what you mean. It looks like an old Hasegawa kit from the 70s, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, those Shrikes look very average.
And the pod. What are those things? What are those? Is that guns there in the middle?
To be fair, though, the pod, the ALQ or whatever it wasn't like the modern ECM pods. It is just basically a couple of tubes welded together. I put a message actually in the private chat, Moss. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I can't do nothing with it at the moment because I'm on overhead.
But it's just a really basic thing, you know.
Right.
So I don't think the molding of it is actually that bad. The Shrikes, I do agree, are a bit under par.
Yeah, they don't look right.
So those bits there that you see, they're not they're not guns. They're,
they're the right.
They're the mounts for the price.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again,
But now, you know, other than that, but like I was just saying, that the actual instructions are pretty good.
Yes.
You know, they give you masks and everything, templates and everything in this kit, don't they? Whereas I saw there was.
How do they do the air intakes just for interest?
The air, there you go. They
There
they put templates there so that you can spray it so that the upper surface camo when it goes up to that yellow line.
Well, that's a good idea.
What I did with those,
that.
Boss, I put sellotape over those templates and then laid masking tape over and then cut through and then peeled the masking tape off the set. So I made a masking tape template.
Yeah. But they were good. They were a good addition, aren't they? The old template.
Sorry?
The templates are a good addition.
Yeah,
they are.
Because I've always said, why don't they put templates of masking up the canopies like they do at Armour Hobby?
Yeah, that would have been
Somebody actually said that to me the other day. Emailed me and said, you know, why can't they put a template on the page where you can mask up your canopies? I said, well, Armour Hobby do it anyway.
Why can't they just put a mask sheet in there?
Yeah. And then you also have the jigs as well, don't you, to do the
the jet pipes.
The jet pipes, yeah.
They are.
But you've got to cut out. I'm just saying, cutting out plastic isn't a be all and end all of everything. Surely, we drill holes in plastic all the time, depending on what you want to do. But you know, so I've always said the undercarriage always looks pretty swell on this. It must be robust for a heavy, you know.
Oh yeah.
We've all built where the canopy is so weak it breaks, but that looks a really good build up. That does. To be fair,
I'll tell you what. Compared with the old kit, that is absolutely superb.
It is gorgeous.
Just looking. I mean, look at the actuators on the undercarriage doors. You had none of that on the old kit.
No. How long did it take you to do it, Nigel? Wasn't it like a 2-week job for you?
No, it was more than that. I've got it here. It's it was a good couple of months, I think. But you see,
I thought you built it quite quick and you spent a while painting and weathering it. That's what I thought.
Right, I probably built it quite quick, yeah. But the see, I almost got caught out because I've got a reference picture of the model I built, and I wanted to do this one because it's got a kiwi instead of a round circle in the middle of the roundel, and it had a massive hydraulic leak out of one of the wheelbays. So it's got a streak. And it wasn't until I read the comment and it said something like the hydraulic leak in the starboard wheelbase. I looked at the picture, I thought that's on the port side. And then I realized the picture was backwards. The picture had been printed backwards. So I almost got quite out like Airfix did.
Yeah. But anyway, when I bought it with the coin as well. So let me get the coin out because I tell you what, I've got all of them now. This is it's quite a lovely coin, to be fair, if I'm allowed to say that. There you go. You get this little Operation Vulcan Black-Buck coin, medal, whatever. Big chunky thing as well. So you know you get that. I've got them all now. I've got the other. So I've got the Operation Chastise one that they gave Airfix, and then I got the limited edition Gloss of the Meteor with the Airfix Club logo on the back, and then this one's quite a cool one, but it's got no colour in it. It's just that's the one that went through Tower Bridge, Hawk Hunter. So I'm collecting. I need to put them in something now. I've got loads of them, but that's the coin that came with it, and that's why I bought it for the coin because I only paid £17 for it. Because I had 5,500 Horny Hobby points, so I used that against it. And what made me laugh was when I used my hobby points, it dropped me down below free postage and packing, so I had to pay postage and packing because it dropped me down for free postage all the way down to got to pay for postage now. But I ordered it on the day.
It's a rookie error, Moss. You should have just bought another kit.
I did. I didn't realise.
I've done that before.
I didn't realise until I pressed pay that I then actually paid the postage. But don't get me wrong, here's one for you. Bless them, they sorted it for me. I pre-ordered the Land Rover and the Scout back in January, and they released them on the same day. And they invoiced me twice, so I had postage on both of them, and they came in one box. So I emailed them and said, hang on a minute, you buggers. I've been charged twice here for postage, and if I bought the kits together, they would have taken me over free postage, and they refunded me straight away. So
that's all right.
Yeah, refunded me straight away. Yeah.
How much did you pay for that Vulcan with the postage then?
20 quid.
So I'll give you 25 for it. There you go.
Oh. I got a nice. I've got a lovely.
He's thinking about it, you know.
Yeah, he is.
I've got a lovely kit here that I won at the weekend.
He's got a lovely Spitfire if you want it.
I've got one of those, and it cost me absolutely nothing. They sent it to me for free.
Nice.
There you go. And there's you saying you get fuck all free, Nigel.
I get loads free.
Yeah. It's part of the what's it called? It's the celebrity lifestyle, isn't it? You know.
That's right.
So we've gone over that. Is it, like I said, should Airfix really hang the, you know, is this a deal breaker for people with Airfix, that one piece going wrong, or should we now look at what options have they got? Should they refund people for that part that's wrong? Should they offer us another part? What's your thoughts? What do you reckon Airfix should do to get themselves out of this mess?
I think they should offer a correction.
Yeah.
So maybe perhaps another pylon, so you can cut that ECM off and then mount it on a new pylon.
But how long will it take them to re-engineer that tooling?
To make the tooling.
Yeah, but if you're going to cut the pod off that pylon, you might as well cut the top pylon off as well.
That's
really what they should be sending you is a new sprue with a pod and a revised pylon.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I could do it. We could all do it. But you're 12 years old. You're sat at your kitchen table with a pair of scissors and a bread knife. You know.
Right.
I mean, somebody who might only have built 5 kits in their entire life might have bought one of those.
Yeah, they probably have.
Do you know what I mean?
There will be people out there that have never built a kit in their life bought that because of its
status.
So James Bullard is suspect they'll offer to send out the correct part free of charge, you know, but they can't do that now because to retool that, well, it's going to take a few weeks, surely, to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Easy.
Even to retool a replacement part would take at least, I would have thought, a month.
Well, Bodigo reckons they'll resin 3D printed part, which is what Matt from Model Minutes said in our Discord. He reckons, or at least offer an STL file to print your own if you need to.
Why can't they give you the contract and then you can do it on your machine?
On that Humbrol machine? Oh, that's a chance, mate.
You'd make a bomb.
I'll give him a
you
free
wouldn't
peg
not
at the same
on
time.
that Humbrol machine produces.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to offer you an STL file plus a 3D printer from Humbrol to print it with. That's what they're going to do. They must have loads of stock.
To put it in comparison, a little company up in Scotland called Aerocraft made a brass nose gear for the A20 and 1/32 scale, and it hasn't worked out very well. So he's designed a part that you can add to the wheel bay to make it stronger. Free of charge, contacted everyone who's bought one. He'll send you one, or he'll send you the STL file.
Yeah.
So you can that's what they need to do.
Yeah, but it's not. You're not comparing apples and apples there, are you? I mean,
No,
a
plastic
one-man band
is 2 different things, isn't it?
But they could
one-man
easily
band doing that is much easier than a company which is, at the end of the day, controlled by an investment fund.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of money to retool a replacement sprue will cost an awful lot.
Yeah. Well,
and how are they going to recoup that cost?
Well, I think what they'll probably do, this is my thinking, wisely, what they'll probably do is where they've done that pylon in that pod, they'll fill that with something. They'll weld it back up, fill that hole in, and then make it so that there's two separate parts, and then you'll have to attach that pod to the pylon after. They'll just fill that bit in and make sure that the cutaway or that where the shoulder was is filled in as well, like, you know, it's all drilled out so that they've got a flat base to it. That's what I reckon. They won't ditch that tooling. Well, you look at the size of it. You know, that tooling is massive. So there it is there. And that's stuck on there.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, yeah.
That's the pot
You'll probably have another sprue attached to the top of that as well.
Unless these are like where you can add inserts. Unless these are inserts.
They might be inserts.
Yeah. So really, they'll have to redo this one. But like you're saying, at the same time, they could have a look at the shrikes and get them looking a bit better.
Yeah.
I would suggest the best thing they can do is contract someone to 3D print a new part for them.
Yeah.
A new pylon, and then have you cut the ECM pod off and glue it onto your new pylon.
Yeah.
Crazy glue it on.
And then
I honestly can't see them doing that though.
No,
What, given the 3D part?
Yeah.
it's going to be cheaper.
I mean, as soon as you, but it's not the cost. It's the design philosophy, if you like. If you're going to, so Airwaves, right, used to do a metal set to do exactly this, to do the Black-Buck raids, the shrikes, the ECM pod, all of the pylons, which again, you know, kind of beggars belief that they just didn't go and look at that. But as soon as you produce an STL and have somebody produce it, then you've got to have the question. Then is, well, why not just buy that and then just the normal B2? And that's going to put the question in people's mind: why would I pay £72 for that?
Yeah.
And selling the Vulcan for 40, is that really worth 32 quid? And you're going to bet your bottom dollar that the aftermarket are going to pick up on this pretty quickly and start making. It doesn't take much to make a set of shrikes, an ECM pod, and a couple of pylons.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
I didn't know it was £32 different. You're paying £32 for that sprue.
Well, I mean, with them selling the Vulcan at the outlet so cheaply, and what you can get it now from Jadlam and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jadlam are charging 40 quid now for that, the B2.
So you could probably do it with buying the old kit and buying an aftermarket weapon set, and then it with a better model.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very joined up, does it? You know.
No.
EP decals as well.
I think, to be honest, I think the best they could salvage from it would just be a set of instructions saying, look, just cut the part here and here and glue it like that. You know, that's the fix for it. Apologize. You know.
Yeah.
And if
I personally think they'll do more than just say. I think that they'll come back with 2 or 3 options. That's my given. I think they'll come back with 2 or 3 options that will satisfy. Which would be satisfactory. But remember, you know, there's 5,000 kits minimum that they got to buy in. I reckon there's 5,000 of these out there now with that pylon that's wrong.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if
you may laugh. Pardon? Sorry.
It's an expensive recall, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, there's 5,000 kits. I reckon there's 5,000 kits. So that's a guesstimate, obviously, but I reckon they bought in 5,000 kits. Maybe if I go by the number 4480, I reckon that's about as many. That's that's a round figure, isn't it? 4480 kits that they probably ordered in. So there's that amount of kit. They're going by what I can see on the side of that box. So you don't know. You know, it's Jadlam have already been dishing them out because. Genesis, Jenny, she's got hers from Jadlam. So, you know, but let's say Substitute 76 said they will have to withdraw from sale and contact people who have bought. They won't contact them directly. What they'll do is they'll put out a huge press release, and they'll probably be either tomorrow or Wednesday. There'll probably be a video on YouTube explaining what went wrong. and then we have to decide way forward. But what I've been told is they're devastated by this because it shouldn't have happened.
The thing is, I don't understand why, and I said this to Luke when I met him at the Avon show. I don't understand why they don't. I know there's this big secrecy thing, but if you've got people signing NDAs, you've got nothing to worry about. But like people like yourself or me or Alex or John or whoever, send them a sprue shot, send them a set of instructions. What do you think? Yeah. Just for a bit of feedback.
Yeah, but even if you've got a sprue shot, it's too late, isn't it?
Well, the trouble also is
built.
I mean, a CAD image of the sprue shot. So sorry, I should have been.
Yeah.
Well, you could see you've got those sprue connection points in a stupid place. Move them to the end of that part.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's sort of. It's like with the Sea King. I don't know if you've seen on your kits the 48 scale. There's a weld seam where the plastic has run along the rotor blades. There's a point about 3 inches in from the end, or 2 inches in from the end, where the plastic's met, and there's a line there. And when you spray hot primer on it, it comes through.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying.
As I said, so I just look at the comments here. I know people are going to say, well, now you've got a use for your 3D humble printer mods that you can print your own parts from Airfix. But I'll tell you what, Nigel, you got me right. I was quite open with that. I went to one of the press days, and they had one of the final test shots of the E-Type Jag.
Yeah.
And I begged him. I said, "Can I have that to build on my channel now? Give it to me now. Don't worry about instructions because the starter set I can work out." He wouldn't let me, and I've said to him on a few occasions, "Why don't you just give us, the YouTubers, because Airfix Keyword Publishing, Airfix Model Magazine, they know exactly what's going on with Airfix, and the reason is that they pays them the money. Airfix get a lot of money to have the rights to know what's going on with Airfix. As soon as that Sea King was launched, the guy had already built one on that day. We were there. The guy from Keyword had already built one. But I was saying, why don't you send us stuff like, and then we could do it, because surely my reach and your reach, Nigel, outweighs anything that Keyword do, just on the fact that every fucking thing they put out is behind a paywall. Every time they tweet something, whether it's a brand new product or somebody like an advertising of a tooling or something, or a tool that will help you better do scale mine better, you click that link on Twitter straight to their paywall. You don't see nothing. It comes or if you want to see his article, you got to pay £19 a month. Our reach goes further.
Yeah.
Our reach goes further.
That Spitfire magazine, the magazine dedicated to 124 Spitfire.
Yeah.
Would have been nice if he'd finished it. There's got no wing lights in it. The wheels are on the wrong way round, so the flat spots are pointing forward.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
But I agree with you though.
Without in an Airfix magazine.
Like this is on their starter set, and I've come across this twice now. Spelling mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay. This one here, it says the dimensions. I'll get it on bigger screen a bit so you can see. Dimensions. The width is 3 mil. See that? 3 mil. But
two-dimensional kit.
Yeah. And they're working in secrecy. They're working in secrecy. They don't want you to know.
But
so
I mean, it's just such a. Okay, I'll call it as I see it. I think that's stupid because I've worked for. I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet here, but I've worked for companies with like 100,000 employees that deal with pharmaceutical stuff worth billions, and they deal with NDAs all the time, and with far less secrecy than that, right? And they've managed to keep everything under wraps because obviously, if somebody betrays that trust, they're ostracized and never dealt with again. So that keeps people in check, right?
Yeah.
And to your point, Moss, about YouTubers, why is YouTube so popular compared to paid reviews and stuff? It's because we're completely independent, right? So our views are our own. A view from a magazine that's paid to have early access,
That's right.
people don't trust it,
No.
and that's evolved over time, right? People don't trust companies that are paid to say things, sponsored stuff, all of that. They're always a skeptical bit. So I'm absolutely with you. I think that early access to people who will give an honest opinion, just like you say, this is spelt wrong. This looks odd. I'm not familiar with the Black Buck thing, but was this pylon really like this? Because that looks weird. The Shrike missiles just look a bit basic. Just that kind of feedback at an early design stage, I think would be really valuable to Airfix. And I don't think it would compromise their secrecy.
So
if they had proper NDAs,
You're talking like Alpha access, aren't you? Very, very limited access, so that it's only the YouTubers that can give feedback.
But then again, on the flip side of that, Airfix played a blinder on 2 instances. So we had the Spitfire launch, which I went to, the 124th. They had me there, and I was able to tweet out everything that I was seeing as I was going. The Sea King was an absolute diamond, really. We were all there. We didn't realise what was going on, and boom. And you had all these YouTubers filming and putting out content. I even shared the live event on an iPhone, to it, and they got really good views. They are a company that's very forward when it comes to involving us. But yeah, if I had the opportunity to grab that. What's that, Nigel?
But it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, though, isn't it, Moss? Because I absolutely agree with you. I've only been involved in the one event. But the openness, the honesty, the access, was fantastic. And of course, I'm going to talk about that. They gave us the kit, yes, but I also pointed out the, like the short shot and stuff. I'm not going to hide that. It's because it happened, and it's something they need to address, the QC. It's an honest opinion, which is why people watch, why people then believe the opinion. I don't think the small things that people have said about the Sea King have really affected its sales. It's been very popular. I've got a couple in the shop waiting for people to buy them. It's just, and then on the other hand, you've got this kind of super secrecy, which and these surprise announcements, which are nice, if they get them right. The Seafire, I think everybody was happy to see that. Some lovely schemes. I bought one because I think the schemes are fantastic, even though I've done a lot of Spitfires recently and slightly jaded with the aircraft. But that scheme kind of pulled me in. I was really excited about the Black Buck stuff, and then bang, suddenly you see this, and it's like, oh, okay. And it only takes a little thing like that to muddy the waters to make what could have been a really good release at, let's face it, a pretty dull time of the year, probably financially for them, into something which is, it might break even, might make them some money, it might lose a bit, which is a shame, right?
Well, if we hear what we were told, that Airfix tried to make their money back on the tooling after the first release. So this is coinage, isn't it? This is going to help with their profits, and seeing, that the online sales have gone up massively for Airfix this year, because I sent the article on the Discord group. They've done really well. Don't know about the Hornby side or the Sketch, but the Airfix looks like the Airfix side has done really, really well. And the reason I buy Airfix stuff from Airfix websites is because I want it as soon as possible so I can get the review up. Now, when it comes to Tamiya stuff, Revel stuff, or anything else, I buy them directly from model shows or from model shops. That's how I've done it. But when it comes to Airfix, I feel that I have to go down that route, and that's why my credit card, I make sure the expiry date is at least a year long, because if it cancels, then I got to go in the back of the queue to get me kit, because we can't take payment. I'm right at the bottom of the list. So, but a couple of questions was asked don't they get people to build these kits? Yes, they do. The guy who's built every single scale model kit recently, right from the start, is the guy who does the instructions, because he builds them from scratch, doesn't he? The guy who does the instructions. I'd love to get him on Airfix and Chill to talk to him about how he does instructions, because I think Airfix instructions are the best around. The starter set one should be in every single Airfix kit, even tell you where to put the glue. You know what I mean? They're brilliant. But obviously, you can't, because when you think about it, starter sets 30 or 40 pieces. You're not going to get a kit which has got 300 pieces and tell you everywhere you've got to put the cement. It's never going to work, is it, to be honest? So, but anyway, so there is somebody, and they do have a guy now. They've got to give him a name. He's the man with no name, or like it's like Airfix's Stig, if you know what I mean, who actually built their scouts.
We could get him on Beyond the Box, Moss, because then he wouldn't have to show his face.
Yeah, exactly. We must get him on there, definitely. Saying that, I'm trying to pin Ethan down this week to get him on here next week. That's the plan, anyway. Yeah, Ethan's on holiday this week.
When I was speaking to Luke at Avon, two things, because I pointed out some instruction errors on the Sea King.
Yeah.
On color call outs, and he's like, "Yeah, we should have spotted that. Thank you, Nigel. You're right." And he also said that they need people to build models for them. So I don't know, because I said to him, if there's anything I can ever do to help you, let me know. And he said, we do need people to build models for us.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll get in touch with me. I don't know. But I've also found with that Sea King on the red and grey scheme, there's a load of mistakes in the colour call out as well. They're silly little schoolboy errors, like you say with the printing. And I don't know. They used to do NDA agreements.
Yeah.
Because Peter, my friend at Airscale, they used to send him kits so he could make his cockpit sets before they release. But now they won't send anything out before release, will they?
I think that's because they wanted to get the open playing field. You see, that was the issue.
I think somebody let loose what was coming and showed them something that was coming, and they didn't want them to do it. So,
yeah,
I think Dale said at the press day for the Sea King that they had a load of. And I dealt with this in my day job as well. Inherited a distribution network, and you look at it, and it makes no sense. So they had a bunch of agreements with people, I think, with different conditions and stuff, and I think Dale said we just decided to bin it all and just make it an even field for everybody. Everybody finds out at the same time. There's no kind of this guy finds out 3 weeks early, this guy's a month, this guy's 2 weeks, or so it just didn't make any sense. And I get that, because it must be a nightmare to track that, right?
I think Dale has got his head screwed on. For instance, these Airfix, I'm very proud. I'm a card carrying Airfix members club member.
That number doesn't mean anything, Moss.
And that number means bugger all. And that was the thing. He said, why are we putting these in the box with a number when there's no need? Because we don't even know which numbers goes with what. It's all to do with your name and your address and your postcode. But I've still got mine, and I'm going to treasure that, because I must have had one of the last years of getting one. So, and also I think he's slimming down, like, for instance, there's no flying hours on starter sets at Audi, because you're paying £4, £6 a kit. He loses money on that with the flying hours. So he stopped them on the quick builds. Mind you, I did get one from Audi with a flying hour on, so it must be old stock. There's real brains behind the brawn here. And unfortunately, to be fair, they've had it plain sailing for quite a while now, and it was obvious that there was going to be some error that was going to pull up at some point to bite them on the bum. But I think this is where you're going to see the men from the boys, because I think they're going to come out fighting and say, hiya, hands up, thank you very much. We now have, instead of 2 photos of the incident, we now have 2,000 pictures that everybody sent us, and thank you for doing that for us. We're going to offer you this, or something like this. May even offer you to send the kit back and wait until they get a fresh lot in and send. I don't know. But I think going by the number I see on my box, there must be at least 5,000 kits. It's not 500. They gave out 500 of the coins. There was a 500 coins. So if you bought a kit, you would get one of these medals. That's the first 500. And to be fair, these are about £15 each. To get these manufactured, they aren't cheap to get manufactured, these coins. So, there's money there, £72 plus your coin, But that's part of Airfix's strategy. I think wait for a couple of days, and let's just wait and see what Airfix are going to say. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. You know, I don't think you'll ever get anything else from Tamiya. Or
no,
Ravel.
I think you're right. It's I mean, everybody makes mistakes, right? It is the important bit is what you do about that mistake.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you're right. I think I'm looking forward to see what Airfix says.
I'll tell you one thing,
like
though.
you say, I think they will do the right thing, whatever that looks like. But
I'll tell you one thing,
be
though.
interesting to see what it is.
I'll tell you one thing. They'll learn from this hard.
Hmm.
They'll be scared to fart in case they shit themselves on any other future release, aren't they? You know what I mean?
It's like someone here said that the haters are just going to jump on this, especially when, like Alex said, you're paying £32 for that piece of shit. It's just, that's crazy. They're going to be all over it like wildfire. Because it does seem.
I mean, that's the kind of thing they're going to say, isn't it?
Sorry?
I say that's the kind of thing that the haters are going to say. Yeah. You know, they're going to pick up on all that and blow it out of proportion.
Yeah.
Isn't an after sales kit set? Isn't that 30 odd quid or less?
Probably.
But I'm just trying to work out what about the decal sheet as well, because they've got the market there. There'd be no point in putting out another decal sheet, would there?
No.
So you actually that decal sheet must be worth 7 or 8 quid to anyone. Just saying, not just about the plastic here. Let's work. You know, if you want to go and do aftermarket, what are you looking at? 25 quid for resin parts,
probably,
and a little bit of photo etch. But the decal sheet is what you need to do those schemes. I don't think anybody would produce a decal sheet for just those 2 schemes that you want to do.
Usually those sort of aftermarket things are what, about 12 quid, 11.99, something like that. And you get a bunch of different schemes. You'd have like the last Vulcan, the Black-BuckGate, you know, or whatever. Or you'd have a load of different aircraft for the Black-BuckGate. You'd have the Victor and the Vulcan and stuff like that.
But you know, when you're only doing one model and you're buying a decal, I've done it before. You know, I've got a lightning sheet there to do the one that's outside Peterhead. But I've got about 17 different variants on that one sheet. All I want it is for one. All I want it is for the blue circle sticker that goes on the tail, if you know what I mean. But I've paid, I think it was £14 plus 5 quid from Germany to get it. But I've got what I want now. That's 20 quid just on a decal sheet because I just want some particular, you know, the circles, the roundels on it. But
it's like even worse, Moss, when you buy that one scheme that you're looking for, which is on a sheet of like 7 or 8, and then you realise you've ordered it in the wrong fucking scale.
Yeah. Oh, don't go there.
I know a guy. It wasn't me, obviously.
Yeah. We've all done it.
A friend did it. Yeah.
It's like
a friend I know, someone I know, I heard of, bloke down the pub. Yeah.
I've got that Airfix Boeing 727, which the decals are bollock for, and I found them in America, 727, but with different. I didn't care what the schemes were. I just wanted to put a scheme on. I think it was United Airlines or something. When I got it, it was a 172. Massive, like, you know. And I went back on the website, and it did say 172, but it had been put under the category of 144. They don't do it 144.
Oh.
So I looked, it was, and I thought, bugger. But you know, you look on it, you Google search it, and the killer is that if you're looking for it, Google will put up similar things in the box, don't they? So if you're looking for a 144 scale decal, they'll come up with 172 ones on the top. But you think psychologically, oh, that's the one I want there. Bang, bought.
The other one you've got to watch out for is Amazon. I bought this. I buy this tape for cheap, like sort of, masking the whole thing while you paint a little line or something. And it's like £5.99. I looked on my statement from Amazon, £32. It was like £27 postage. Because I hadn't noticed the postage. So I sent it back and got a full refund and then bought it on Prime for £5.99.
Yeah. I've done that before. Have you tried that masking tape I sent you?
I haven't yet. No, I want to find out more about it. I'm waiting for you to find out more about it, and then I'll review it.
Well, no, I've just tried to get hold of the manufacturer in Japan, and a woman from Germany's contacted me, and they won't supply it to me because they have one country, one distributor. But the distributor in this country doesn't sell 277. But it's a waxy rice paper. I have used it now on 4 builds. And I've never suffered bleed. it's like it repulses the paint. It's made of rice paper apparently, and I wanted to get it and bring it over here because I was willing to spend £1,000 to get a box of it over and then just ship it out to people, like, you know. But they won't do it now. They said we've got one distributor does it, but if you want to get in contact with them, they might get it in for you. I'm like, well, that's not the point, is it? The point is that there's a product here which I think is going to revolutionise masking up planes and models because I've never suffered bleed through from it. You know,
I haven't tried it yet. I must admit that I love Tamiya tape, but the Tamiya 40mm tape is a different type of tape, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is.
I think that there, and you don't. So a lot of people, what they do is they put it on the back of their skin, don't they? To, you know, I don't with this stuff. I just lay it on. We look at my Concorde video. The line is absolutely pristine, absolutely pristine. When you peel it off, it's like piercing a spoon when you open up the coffee for the first time. You know what I mean?
Oh, talking about masking, I don't know if you've seen the videos. I've done this one today.
Well, that's nice.
That's all mask. That's all paint.
That's all paint, is it?
Oh. Using the one-man army. And this here, all that there, I painted the letters first and then camouflage over the top. So then it's completely flush. It's got there's no ridges there or whatever.
How the hell have you done that?
Masking tape.
The tape, yeah.
From One Man Army.
Crazy.
Oh wow!
It's absolutely. If you look at that roundel close up, look at it.
They do some really good stencils. I'd like to get some.
Do you think that'll ever replace decals?
I've got a boatload of them here. If you ever want one. I'm his ambassador for the
UK. Yeah. So at the end of it, so the discussions come to this, Sam. We'll wait and see what Airfix are going to produce. I personally am going to think that Airfix will push hard and they'll come out fighting after this. I really do. I think they will come out and say, we're going to offer you this. I think they may even offer money back. If you don't want it, just send the kit back. I don't know.
Yeah, they might do that.
But I think a lot of people here, I think I'm really happy with it, to be honest. I've seen it's another Vulcan that probably going to end up on my shelf for a while. But to say, all the stuff I've seen from aircraft in the last 2 or 3 years has been absolutely pucker. And I just thought to myself, cutting plastic isn't a weird thing for scale modelers to do. There's been times when you cut out big sections of stuff that you don't need, to put things in, and vice versa.
But Moss, I don't want to slay Airfix at all. I think they're bloody great. They're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about is like when you get gear doors. Like if the gear doors on the Vulcan were molded as one piece for people who want to build it on a stand, and then you cut them open if you want to have them open. That is a complete and utter, very bad oversight. Like, it's not like they've got too many ribs in the bomb bay for the rivet counters to get hold of. That is just surely to God, somebody looked at that and thought, this can't be right.
It's lazy, isn't it?
I mean, the next thing, what they new producer Kawasaki with the bloody handlebars on the back seat.
Yeah.
Because I saw a picture of one in somebody's garage with the handlebars.
Do you know what? True story.
In black and white.
One of the manufacturers, it's an ME-262. They went to a museum and looked at an aircraft that was being restored, and they photographed the cockpit. And on the right-hand side console, there's a roll of tape. And apparently, on the kit, there is a circle on the console where they've molded it.
Really?
Yes.
Tamiya did a similar thing. Donkeys. I don't know when it was because I've been trying to find the kit, but they did the 410 at Cosford. They copied exactly the one that's in the museum, and when it was at because it was St Athens prior to coming there, they had a bit of an accident where they gunned the engine up a little bit. The tail lifted and the blades hit the deck, so they couldn't get replacement blades. So they cropped the blades right on the tip.
Right.
Oh, right.
Tamiya released that kit with the crop blades. Once it was pointed out, they own the mistake and says, all right. So they re-released the kit with both the cropped and actual proper blaze which you could do as it is at the museum at that time, or as it actually should have been.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But this is the problem, because with a lot of particularly old stuff, all people can go off is what's in a museum.
yes.
And if somebody's tinkered with it and changed stuff or put stuff on just to make it look right, it might not be the right variant, if you like.
Yeah.
They've just done what they can to make that look complete. And, you know, a company comes in, they might not know it, because, do you know what I mean? I mean, some of these aircraft are, 60 odd plus years old?
Yeah.
Not all the time, not necessarily all the time. People know exactly what the right thing that should be there at the time.
Yeah.
So when these companies come in and scan it and do all this sort of stuff, it's inevitable something's going to be wrong.
I think. Do you remember the Airfix emergency set with the case and the fire engine? Apparently, the fire engine didn't exist until 1946.
Right. Yeah, it's like they always portray the fuel tankers as being blue and yellow, don't they? In World War II, and they weren't. They were dark green.
Thank you very much. I've just got some.
They never blue and yellow until after.
Yeah.
Oh, coffee. Lovely. No, it's fine.
Just
Sorry, it's my wife giving me a drink.
let's quickly go for the chat, because a lot of people made lots of good comments tonight. I'm really sorry. I wish Fenris was here, because Fenris pings them up so I can see them on the screen. So I do apologise, but thank you everyone who's dropped in tonight and puts comments in. Ivan Womack, Airfix just seems to have a lot of issues with kits. $148 had short shots, mode faults, and a huge sink mark in the IP. New Sea King has short shots, an issue with clear parts. Yeah, but that isn't Airfix. No. Yeah, it is Airfix, but that's
not
quality
Airfix.
Control from India.
And
I promise you, because I've had 2 bad experiences from Airfix, and I've said, you know, for instance, that what's it called, the Lamborghini, that clear part was cracked and scratched even before it was put in that bag, in the separate bag, then put into the toolkit, into the rest of the kit. You know, and I said to Dale about it, and Dale said definitely something that we've really pushing. They've dumped all the starter set paints and reissued fresh new starter set paints because the old pots were buggered, and they just thought, we'll just dump the lot and start again. Yeah. You know, they are pushing that way. I understand what people are saying, you know, but they're using what they can to keep prices low. Bug, yes, had a short shot, but do you know what? I contacted Airfix, and within 2 or 3 days, I had the right part correctly molded on my workbench, ready to finish off the Bug.
You're lucky. I'm still waiting for mine.
Yeah, the Gannet release. Yeah. You know, there was an issue there with the Gannet. You know, there was Mr. Mock got poorly. We all know he's been put on Facebook, and you know that he had an operation because he had a growth in his skull, and that was put back. You know, because he designs all the decals, and you know, I've heard that, you know, because he was proper ill, because he wasn't right for weeks. He was getting really tired, and I remember seeing him at model shows still masked up because he thought he had long COVID. And then all of a sudden, I believe that, you know, he had this growth and he had to have it removed. And I saw him at Avon with you, Nigel, and he was wearing a hat, but he showed me the big scar on his head from the operation, bless him, and he was getting better. But because he was designing the decals, he couldn't do it. He was poorly. So that, you know, there's noise there. I'm not saying that's the true story why the Gannet's so late, but I was under the impression by what I was hearing from people around that because of that, you know, the decals weren't quite there yet, and the box art wasn't done. But Pascal, I was going to say, so we're talking about this quality issues about Airfix. Tamiya have one of the worst Sea Harriers in the market that's based on a prototype, although the SEG kit is still on sale with no with no complaints. And yeah, I get that. Also, it's quite a cheap kit now as well.
To be fair, plastic. Everybody complains about that kit.
Yeah.
It's Tamiya's worst, so it's not out there with no complaints.
But didn't the E-models have now got the M34A Sherman tank or something tank in? 1986 release, just brought back into stock now, and that's full of errors, that Tamiya kit. So, you know.
What's the price of it? How much is it?
Oh, sorry, I just seen Black Rifle Motorworks is in, Sully. We saw him.
Hey.
They won Best in Show, didn't they, on Sunday? Bastards, you know what I mean? They've done really well. So yeah, thanks for joining along, mate. It's nice to see you.
Can I just ask you, Ross, you said about that Sherman, the Tamiya one.
Yeah.
How much is it?
Pardon?
How much is it?
I don't know. I didn't see. I just remember
something to remember about Tamiya. When they bring old kits out, they don't put the price up. No. Like Revell, put a 1950s kit in a box and charge you the going rate.
Yeah.
You can still get a Tamiya Panther in Hobbycraft for $19.99.
Yeah, it's a fair shout.
It'll cost you $79.
You've only got to look at the Revell Harrier for that in 32nd scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. But saying that about that,
about 50 quid, isn't it? Something like that.
It's not worth a fiver, is it?
I mean, that Airfix, that's a Tamiya Sea Harrier. It's 12 quid.
It's 12 quid.
48 scale aircraft. Everybody knows the accuracy issues. If you're not bothered about that, it's a good little build.
It doesn't go well.
But the thing is, and that's the difference, I think, between that and this, is that this is a brand new release. It's 2023. It is not 1969 or whatever it was where that kit, the Tamiya kit was released, and everybody knows about it, and it's priced appropriately. So I don't think that's really comparing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, sorry, so is it? I love great. Well, who's got a name like that? Crumbs. What sort of username is that? I have been waiting over 2 months to get back to me about the short shot on the bum bug. Keep emailing them. Right. Just one quick thing about Airfix Hornby, okay? Any problems, you're not contacting Airfix. You are contacting the Hornby customer service.
That's right.
You keep on banging on. They will answer and they will come good. Honestly, just make sure. I keep telling this is the crux of the matter. Where is it? Is it on this kit? Where is it to? Where's it to? There's a little sticker. There it is. You've got to take a picture of that little sticker there. They need that. You just tell them where you bought it. Just use that sticker. If you don't get an answer, just keep on banging because they do come through. And Airfix are shit hot. They do say, I understand, when I contact them, they probably see my address come up and they go, oh, yeah, Moz Models, right, get the part out to him. I get that, all right, because I'm known to him. But even with Average Joe, they will look, and I've spoken to people and said, just keep emailing. Then I get an email saying, you're right, Moz. I contact them again, and I've got the part coming this week. Just keep going on at them. They're not scared of getting it. They are absolutely... They are brand focused. They know that they've got a crap name to a lot of scale modelers. On the other hand, there's a lot of us rose tinters who want to see the company flourish. I was talking to people this weekend at the model show, and there was no real hate about Airfix. We were talking about the Black Buck and everything. As I was showing off the Scout to people, all saying that is a cracking looking model. They're coming on, and they have got their issues. But the ones who really care, we want them to flourish, and Airfix want themselves to flourish. That's why they're putting so much time, effort, resources in trying to get things right. So if you do have an issue, just remember, just keep banging on with them. If you're not getting those, and if you're really that worried, send me the email, and I'll see if I can do something for you. But I don't want to do that because I think Airfix are grown enough with a pair of balls themselves to sort out any issue, especially that bomb bug. They know there was a short shot. Because me, Gary, from Gary's stuff, all had the same kit. And they do sort it out straight away. So
Can I add something to that as well, Moss?
Yeah.
Airfix also, they have a separate spares distribution department. It's not the same department as the rest of the factory. and they do hold spares for old kits.
Yeah.
Be surprised what they've got. I got a set of tracks for a Sheridan tank maybe a year ago.
Mm. Weren't cheap though, was it though, mate? Postage is a bit on the shy side, isn't it?
Sending me for now.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because the tracks in the kit I had perished. They just fallen to bits.
I think that's though what a lot of people have an issue with Airfix on is it's so variable. You know,
yeah,
I mean, even from my own personal experience, I've had good experiences where Airfix have probably got back to me quickly. And I've had bad experiences where I've had to chase them and it's been weeks. And they need, it's like the Indian QC. It's one of the things I need to get hold of, because I appreciate that it's one team for Hornby and everybody, but people don't give a shit. You know, it's like they have a different experience from, you know, what we're saying, from, you know, people who have good experiences. Unfortunately, Amazon has queered it for the rest of the world, even though it's not applicable, because they're a giant corporation and, you know, can do all this stuff. But because now you can order stuff and get it in some cases the same day or the next day, if you don't like it, you can just send it back and get your money back.
Yeah,
that's the standard people expect from everything. Yeah, and I get that you can't do that, but that's what people hold it to. And even within our little limited hobby, if you're getting better experiences from other companies, that's why Airfix are not doing themselves any favors with having a kind of variable experience. You know? So
don't get me wrong, I was there at the Sea King Day when I was complaining when I was trying to get a part for the bomb bug, and I emailed. I was telling you when I was there. They emailed me back saying, "Are you a trade customer?" Are you a trade customer? So I just said no. I said,
well, I'll give you another example, Moss. Is I met Mark Beals is the local rep I've got for Hornby. He popped into the shop last Tuesday, and we communicated by email a few times before, and he was like, "Oh, you're getting the emails on a Friday for stock," and I'm just like, "I've had nothing." And he was like, "Oh, right." So, you know, again, having a personal contact is really important, because all the stuff that's supposed to happen, you're supposed, as a trade customer, you're supposed to get an email every Friday informing you of stock status, you know, what's in stock, what's low stock, what you can't order. And I wasn't getting it, you know, and I had it for a couple of weeks there. And it's like, it just these little things that fall through the cracks. And most of the time, you know, you chase it and it's okay, but it shouldn't happen. You know, they kind of just need to tighten all of the, like a plumbing system, you need to go back and tighten all the joints a second time. You know?
Those issues, can't they be sorted out very easily with an app?
Yeah, but
I mean, how difficult
again, as a trade customer, I overpaid my first order because a load of stuff was out of stock. I had no idea until I put my second order in and say, "Oh, you got a credit on your account." It's like, have I? I have no idea. There's no online access.
Because if you had an online
for creative, for the hobby company, for Bachman, that's all online. I can just go in and see everything. So they do need to kind of light a fire under that department.
I jest about this, but I do it at every single model show. Everybody, is it a challenge, right? Go to a model show and count how many people are selling anything Humbrol on their stands. All right, I do it every single model show. Went up to West Midlands, you know, went around, not a single jot, not even a tub of cement from Humbrol. You know what I mean? I'm being truthful here, but you know, I think, you know, trying to deal with. I remember talking to a certain model company, a model shop that I used to go to, and I said they had the range of Humbrol paints, right? And had this lovely display stand. And I said, "Oh, you know, that's nice." Well, we had to pay for that display stand. And the worst thing is, now they've discontinued a load of paints. We've got to buy a new display stand to fit the new paints in. I was like, really? And that angered them. They don't sell Humbrol paints there. They even had a bin there of Humbrol little tinlet, not the tinlets, but, you know, the plastic tin ones before they went to the dropper bottles. You know, they had to pay for that display stand, they said. And now they've got new paints coming in the range and some that they haven't got. So, you know, I think there's also, I've offered Dale to go out and sell Airfix for him, like, you know, because I said, you got a job going. I'll go out and rep and sell product. It's easy. Right? Selling products easy, as long as you've got the passion behind it. Go say, look, we've got this new Scout coming out. This is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Your buyers are going to love this. The fact that the you can use the hatches as masks to spray up, then you can unclick those hatches and then paint them up and glue them open or shut. Things like that. That's what shop owners want to hear.
Yeah.
So they can then reciprocate that knowledge to the buyer. You know what I mean? I'd love to sell Airfix stuff. I really would. But anyway, I have to close my channel down. If I did that, I'd be rose tinted too far.
In my experience with Airfix spares, when I needed nuclear parts for my Spitfire, I waited so long for a response. In the end, I emailed Dale and said, "Can you help me out?" You know, and he got onto them, and they came back to me, and then they charged me for the bloody sprue. When I got the answer, I emailed them. About 3 days later, a reply came back. We have sorted your problem. There will be a new one in the post for you. So obviously,
maybe you've got that yellow star on the name like I've got now, that when you ring your email through, you get a good answer.
I very much doubt it.
No.
You know, the company
I am going to
SMDR.
try it. I am going to try it one day. I'm going to actually order something with a different email address, a different account, and see if they treat me differently. But I don't think, I've been told that they, you know, like I said, when that guy who didn't understand what I was on about the bomb bug, and if I was a trade customer, because I had Models logo underneath, I laughed at Dale and I just said, retraining required there, like, you know what I mean?
To be honest, when I got the Spitfire sprue, I told them who I was, and I told them I reviewed their product for them online, and they charged me $1.
Yeah.
When I got the answer, and I didn't have to pay anything. And somebody else contacted me and said, "Oh, I lost my Spitfire sprue," and they gave me one for nothing. So I think telling them who you are doesn't help.
I can't just say this, but this happens in every company. I was with BT Broadband. I rang somebody up, and they said, we can only do it for this price, right? Because I couldn't be asked. I just put the phone down, dialed them back again, got somebody different, and they gave me one of the best deals for broadband I could ever dream of. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to put the phone down and ring them again. You know, I've done that. I mean, you're not little companies, because you probably get the same dickhead the second time round. We're just talking well. We can't do any better for you. But with that, I always find there's no point ringing Airfix or Holmby. Email. And there's been times where I've had a few ups and downs, but on the majority of it, it's pretty good. And I know people say, it's because it's you. I don't think so, but I want to try one just to see what happens. But I don't think so.
I don't think
you say this sort of thing happens in other companies, Moss, but and you use the example of BT. BT have a shocking reputation. I mean, I wouldn't use a BT product if it was the last product on earth and I had to, have somebody piss on me if I didn't use it, because they're just shysters.
Yeah.
Other companies do, but those companies that have that kind of stuff have the reputation that goes along with it. And Airfix doesn't want that reputation. Like Revell have the reputation they have because of what they've done over the years. Not because they've produced excellent kits and wonderful customer service and always are very clear about what's in the box. No, they're none of those things, which is why people think of Revell as they are. They're capable of doing fantastic kits, but that's not the reputation they have.
In my experience, Revell have got the best customer service of any company I've ever dealt with. Not just Models, any company on the planet. They are absolutely amazing.
I will say that when I had 2 Disney kits, Revell ones, both came without decal sheets. Emailed them and said, look, and within 3 days from England, they had sent me the decal sheets that I was missing. So I get that. But also, somebody just mentioned here that in America, when they get a dodgy Airfix kit, they just take the kit back to the shop and get their money back.
Yeah.
But we're quite fortunate because we're UK based that we have a spares department or an aftermarket department. But then again, with Tamiya,
that shouldn't be the case, Moss.
We don't have that for Tamiya, though, do we?
I've had the best experience with Tamiya customer service. I mean, I was
Same here.
But
I messed up a
Tamiya
rear
USA.
tire and I lost a part, so I was prepared fully to pay for it. You know, I sent the little message through, through their website. You know, Tamiya USA, because I'm in the USA. I got a direct email from somebody. What do you need? Let me know what you got. I'm looking for this sprue, and he's like, oh, I don't have that sprue, but what parts do you need? I'll look and see if we've got some of those spare parts. And I'm like, I need this specific part, and if you've got it, the rear tire, and he emails me back. Oh yeah, I got him. Give me your address. I'll send him out to you free of charge. No problem. And he did. I had him here within like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, but Tamiya have a proper distribution in USA.
Yes.
I don't think Airfix have it in Australia or anything like that.
Irvine.
Tamiya got proper distribution in the UK.
Airfix
that's
do
the
in
hobby
the
company,
US.
though, isn't it?
What's your experience with them, Nigel? You were positive too.
I've had I've never had anything missing from a Tamiya kit. I bought on a couple of occasions. I've bought parts that I've wanted for something else I'm working on, and they've sold it to me for. And I wanted an F14 Tomcat canopy, 32nd scale for something else, and it was like £10 with postage. Yeah. Zucchiniore, I contacted them and wanted a sprue for an engine for a Heinkel 129 HS129. They wanted £50 for the sprue.
Wow. You can get the kit for that, right?
The kit's about 80 quid, yeah. They wanted
Yeah, well, okay, so for
they wanted £50 for the sprue. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I went to
Fenris
SAR.
has just said here, I've reached out to Airfix Spares at least twice and got a spare part from them within a month here in the USA.
That's good.
Fair play.
So Airfix USA does exist. Airfix do have a proper distributor out in the US. They don't have them in Australia. Because I raised this with Mark when he came in. I said, I wish you guys would sort out your international distribution, because it's painful putting out a video when you're saying something good about Airfix, and then the guys in the US and Australia were just like, that's great for you guys. We pay, twice as much, 3 times as much, and don't have that. So, yeah.
But then again, somebody mentioned it the other day that there were people in America getting the Sea King now, and the local model shop was still waiting for the back order of a Sea King for them because they went to support their local model shop.
Yeah.
I think John got his Spitfire before the shops had it in America, didn't you, John?
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. I ordered it through the link Moss provided, and I ended up paying, I think it was about $120 total for the kit and shipping.
That's good.
That is really good.
I got that really nice print that I need to frame, but I had it before before the shops had it. Let's just say, You're right, Nigel.
Interesting. So maybe they are getting themselves in a good position then. Maybe.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Because I'm finding we're doing the Sea King, and I make comments about Airfix being great and this is lovely and that, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't be saying that. I've had this and I've had that, blah blah. As soon as you say about an issue with this, that's fucking Airfix shit again, isn't it? There's so many haters out there.
Yeah, but that's just people condition themselves to not like that company.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. What it is. It's crazy. Because no other manufacturer has this love-hate thing like Airfix has, do they? Certainly not in this country.
Can I just say, I look at Airfix like the England football team. We're going to win the World Cup. We're going to win the World Cup. And then when they don't, you're fucking shit. We're always shite. Everybody hates them. You know what I mean?
It's like years ago over here, you go buy an MX-5. Oh, you're a fucking hairdresser. You must be gay. What are you driving that shit for?
Yeah.
In the rest of the world, it's the best 2-seater sport car money can buy. Over here, it's gay.
Yeah.
What a great country you live in.
Exactly. Well, anyway, as I said, I think a lot of us who have been brought up with Airfix want them to flourish. And I think they are. I think this is an unfortunate error with the Black Buck, and something that they'll learn from, and something that will probably they'll come and shine. I think they've got plans on what they're going to do. and I really think that they'll come good for us all. And if they release it again, that tooling will probably be looked over, and they may never release it again, thinking, well, we paused up on that one, let's not bother, let's just move on, because there's plenty of schemes you can do with a Vulcan, isn't there?
Mm.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's
you could do this one. This one is the huge hydraulic leak underneath.
No.
That's the one I saw.
Instead of the round circle, you see it's got a kiwi in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did that one, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
So it's a beautiful model. It's really gorgeous. The Bombay is just amazing.
So the Bombays were accurate then, were they, Nigel? Because somebody said to me today that they were inaccurate. Because I don't think the Bombays were inaccurate.
Well, it's 72nd scale, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I had a
million.
comment on my channel saying that they bought it and were looking forward to it, and then they had to put it away because the bombs were slightly under scale.
That was I knew who it was. He said it on my channel as well.
It's just like
that same guy, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the line that you take.
But you know what the funny bit that they're complaining about? The funny bit about them complaining about that, which is the bit you're not going to fucking see.
Never.
Yeah.
Right.
So does it really matter? You know, I mean, some people just need to get a grip.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's the same with the abuse I got for the chipmunk.
Yeah.
It's a model. Get over it. If you don't like it, that's fine. You know, but if you're going to complain about it just because you don't like it, just piss off.
I got told this black mark here is OTT. There's no way it was like that. So I put a picture on my channel showing that black mark as it is.
Yeah.
It's just, no, that's not real. It fucking says over the picture, this aircraft had a massive hydraulic leak in the carriage bay, and it all went back. And I've got a picture of it like that.
That's the old tool one. That's the real old tool one from the 80s.
Yeah.
I've got the old tool one and all the Wolfpack stuff to go with it, and it's quite nice. I've rescribed it. Have you scribed that one?
No. I just built it straight out of the box. But, I mean, yeah, it was a nightmare to build, but when you finished it, I just can't get rid of it.
No, it's beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful plane.
Every time I look at it, I think, you know, warms my heart.
If we're showing Vulcan box art, I wasn't going to show this on Chill, right? I'll just close that one down. I'll go back to that one.
Right.
This came in a pre-box. They put them in boxes now, don't they? So already ready to all they have to do is stick a label on it and ship it out. Well, mine had to be open to put the coin in.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, mine came a bit buggered because if you look on the side, I wasn't going to show it. I've already chatted, but see that it's like it's been rubbed.
Yeah.
Down the side. Now that wasn't done because the box is big enough for it. It's like it's been because even the corners are buggered as well. Like they've caught.
Nice artwork, isn't it?
It's like they've just dragged it across the floor, then put it in the box, sort of thing. But that's the artwork. I think the box art's phenomenal on this new one.
It is beautiful.
Beautiful.
You know, just a shame that's but it's by. I said today I'm not worried. I thought I'd let you know that this was there, and it was.
I'll give you
the interior on that kit that you've got there. The interior on the retooled Vulcan. I've only got 5. The retool, the interior on the retool Vulcan. It's quite extensive, isn't it?
Yes, it's beautiful. But you can't see any of it.
There's only 7 parts on the inside of this one.
Yeah.
Pilot and seats.
Doc Brown's just said, I need a Kiwi Vulcan now. That's outstanding. You've done well there, mate. Just going back up. There's a comment.
There, John. I was going to show John that you can't see anything. I've got the door ladder down. You can't see anything in there at all.
No.
You can't see anything through the top, especially going under.
No.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Airfix and Revell B17 models. The interior on that is really, really extensive. Once you put the fuselage after you can't see hardly anything.
Well, that's what I was saying about the Anson should have been kit of the year. If it wasn't for the Spitfire launch, the Anson would have been. They had so much glass, you had to make it look good inside. And they went hell for leather on that. And it turned out, and I said, Luke and I think Dale and Chris and the rest of them were saying that, that Anson could have been, should have been kit of the year, but the Spitfire surpassed it because it was what everybody wanted. But just quickly, just going back through to the comments, I did see one here. It's not just Airfix, it is Hornby as well with customer perception. And I get that. If you go on the forums and hear what they talk about the train side of things, like I said, if I had 7 million quid, I would buy Airfix. If I have 5 million operational costs to bring in 3 or 4 new tools and run it, I reckon if you could take Airfix out of, I think you could do it. You'd have to site your own distribution and everything and have, and set it up. But I think Airfix would, I think if Hornby went bust tomorrow, Airfix would be the brand that would survive.
Yeah, because it always has. You look at every takeover in history, Airfix has always survived. I mentioned this on a video I did on the company overview of Airfix, is the fact that it doesn't matter who bought them. They're no Airfix, it's what's worth the money, the name.
Celtic West says, I lost the tail wheel from Airfix 148 Tiger Moth, got a replacement free of charge within a week.
Right on.
Yeah. And yet when anyone that doesn't do models always say, oh, you make Airfix. Airfix is like, say, Hoover for vacuum cleaner.
That's right.
Doc Brown, I had no idea there was a New Zealand one.
It was an RAF Vulcan, and they visited New Zealand, and the crew of the Vulcan were taken off to see some mountains or something. And while they were gone, the ground crew in New Zealand changed the red circle for a Kiwi.
Oh, fantastic!
Like, you bastards! And that's a true story.
Paul Price says, all I know is that the original release of the 124th Airfix Spitfire took about 4+ months to get to Australia, and they didn't send enough. I ordered mine through Amazon in Germany and got it within a week. But that's Amazon, and Airfix do now put model kits on Amazon.
Yeah.
Like I said, me and Nigel bought a Mr. Craft Cobra helicopter for £3 or whatever it was, or £4. It was shipped within 3 days from Germany. I don't know how they afforded to do that. I don't know.
Crazy, isn't it?
It came from Germany because the tracking said Germany to England.
I know of a model shop that buys trumpeter kits off Amazon because they're cheaper than getting them from Bachmann.
God.
Yeah.
You got to look into that, Alex. The big stuff.
Yeah, no. I've
Moz,
already looked into it.
Moz, that's nothing. You should see the bullfighter I got today. Half crushed plastic. Fortunately, was fine. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I really
about
don't.
that. Look at this. Look at my Spitfire. This
Yeah.
is the second one. Look at the state of it.
Did that come from Airfix like that?
It came in the cardboard sleeve. No, I bought it second hand. It came in the cardboard sleeve. Look at it.
It's like Ace Ventura was kicking it around or something.
That box is the same box I used for the Bentley.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as good as all the extras in it. It's not as good.
Did you get the embossed on the back? Look at the back of it. Is it embossed on the back?
Yeah.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
I love it as well. I'd rather have a decent box.
That box though was made down the road from Worthing, from where they produced that kit. It was all done locally. The only thing that wasn't local.
India, wasn't it?
The only thing that wasn't local was the decal sheet. Everything else was all sourced locally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the box was made in Britain. That's why it's shit.
That's right. That's just shit. It's worse than Revell.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's
No, it's not.
Come on.
No.
With Hornby
I thought
Chinese
about doing
operations.
Argentinian Vulcan.
With Hornby Chinese operations, it's bad for QC. Spares non-existent. I've heard that said as well. Hornby spares is terrible. But then, you get your kit pre-made for you, don't you? It's all done for you. Just band spray.
I find that hard to believe. I'm not saying that David's lying, but you think 99% of kits we buy now are made in China?
Yeah.
And how many have quality problems?
Not really.
Airfix was originally in China before they moved it to India, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The tooling's all made in China, then they ship it to India. But I've got my reservations about that company. I think they need to buck up and find another modelling.
I found short shots on my Sea King today.
Did you?
Other parts, yeah. It's only little handles and stuff, and there's plenty more in the kit. But it's little parts that are short shot, yeah.
I'm so gutted for you, mate.
You know what, mine's been all right. The only issue I've had, which is what I've been doing at the moment, the only issue I've had with mine, you're probably not going to see it, that scratch there.
I can see it here from the States.
That's the only issue, and that was a gouge. That was. So I've been sanding that down. I can't get that out because it's quite deep.
Are you using the one with wipers? Yeah.
Do what? Sorry.
Using the one with wipers, yeah.
Well, I think I still will, because for what this is going to be, that crack will make sense being there, so I'm not overly bothered.
All right, okay.
Dale did said he was sending me another one, which hasn't turned up, but I can't really wait any longer because it's holding me up otherwise.
You can have my non-wipered one if you want.
I've got that. That one's fine. I've got that one. That one's good, but I don't know. I mean, 2 mine's better trying to scratch build the wipers, to be fair, but
something you might not have noticed on there, on that top frame on the canopy, if you look at it as it comes down forward over the top, it's got a great big step in it.
I saw that on yours, yeah. I haven't. I think mine was. I think I tried what fit mine was.
Have I already put that video out? Have I?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mine's got it's very slight. Yeah, there is that. Yeah, it's a very slight step actually. Yeah.
What's that, Alex?
Sully's waiting for some of these from me.
Oh, his hens.
Where's my chickens?
Chickens in the Sea King. Annette McCall's just said, I got a label through Amazon. They just stuck the label straight on the box. Yeah, there's a setting in Amazon settings that you want them, because you're giving it away as gift, and the worst thing is that they're going to put a label on. They put it right over the box art. They don't put it on the back out the way. They put it right on the box art.
Yeah.
There's a setting in Amazon that you say you want your products in a bag or sealed. Yeah. So yeah, we've all gone through that one. We had a big row about that 2 years. They started doing that 2 years ago. The bastards.
Or it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift. They'll treat it a little bit better.
They'll do that. Yeah. Just quickly, we've got Plastic Alchemist in. Hello, Plastic. You all right?
Good evening, all. How we
See
doing?
you in the chat, mate.
Right, so we'll see everybody next week then.
Yeah. What was that, sorry?
I says we'll see everybody next week then.
Yeah, we're about to go in a minute, mate. It's 10 o'clock. I've got to go and have a shower.
No
auction. Boss has got to auction his Black-Buck Vulcan, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
No auction last week? Come on, you got to have something.
I'll give you 60 quid for it. Sully, what I was talking about, Sully, was not up here. It's here on that frame that goes down.
Oh, the side. Oh, okay, I've actually got a slight one.
No, sorry, no, there's two. Backward. Where are we?
Hang on. Let me get you up bigger, mate.
Well, you've got the canopy framing there.
Yeah.
If you look at it, there's a step halfway down. It sort of comes down and then it steps down.
All right.
And that's not there. You need to sand that out.
Okay, because there is a slight one at the top, which is not. You're not going to notice, but down the side there.
It's not an issue. It's the moulding. As it comes down, it's got a step in it. You can see it if you look at it.
Interesting.
Oh.
And there's a scribe line, and it doesn't go up all the way over the top. It just stops after about 5 or 6 minutes.
As I said, there's no point in actually in auction off that black buck because it's wrong. Anyway, it's 10:15. Thank you so much. Been a really good chat tonight. I think we've covered everything when it comes to the controversy of the black buck and how Airfix is going. As I said, I'll put them on now. I've got them here somewhere. There you go. I'll put on my Sons of Anarchy glasses that I got shipped from the States. There's my Sons of Anarchy glasses. There's my rose glasses.
Yeah. It looks like purple rain, doesn't he?
I love Sons of Anarchy. That was such a brilliant show. And when I was told what the glasses they wore were KDs, I went and bought a set. Had them shipped over from the States at the same time as I got my poster from what's it called? Big Bang Theory. You know, the posters they come through the door. Anyway, I got that poster as well at the same time. So there's a great website for where if you want to purchase things from American shows. It's not cheap, obviously. So if you wanted a pair of these glasses that the Sons of Anarchy motorcyclists, you buy them from there. Like, you know, they're pretty cool. But I said I think Airfix of 2023 is far gone of the Airfix of 2010. You know, even 2015.
Yeah.
You've got good researchers. You've got people. You've got a plastic. But I will state that the Indian plastic is still not as good as the British plastic.
No, it's not.
It's always been
okay. Just saying, if you get the Spitfire Mark 9, the 124th, and you start sanding it, comes off like a dust, like a fine dust. You do the Indian plastic, it shreds.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird plastic. It's very nylon like, I find it.
But that Mark 9 is just absolutely brilliant, man. You know, part prep on that kit was just absolutely fantastic.
Yes,
fantastic.
Alex, did you when you did your Seeking, did you bend the rotors down?
No,
you didn't. Bother. I did mine with. I had to use boiling water, like to get them to move. God knows what that plastic is. Normally hot water.
Mine seemed to droop anyway, so.
And mine were all satisfied.
The rotors. I'm talking about the rotors.
To be fair, that came up in conversation on the release day, wasn't it? They all said then that it was, you know, that they should naturally sag.
I don't know why they didn't mold them with droop rotors. Every helicopter manufacturer does. I don't know why they didn't.
Didn't do what? Sorry.
Every helicopter kit out there has droop rotors. They always
the ones on the day, and the ones in my kit are drooped. They so whether you've got different ones, I don't know. It's
you've got to walk through.
Well, one of the things they said on the day was that they didn't put any angle on the rotors in case people wanted to do like in flight versus on the ground. So there's never a correct level of droop depending on what people want to do. So
they say size matters.
If you get not the Hasegawa.
Mine's wavy.
The Dragon.
I just took them off. Mine's wavy. Look.
Yeah.
Mine actually goes up.
Oh.
Every man's dream, isn't
it?
Anyway, folks, that's it.
And straight.
Thanks all, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bless you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Everyone, guys.